Greetings and welcome again to another vlog. This is about Sweden again. No gaming in this one. I got a selfie stand, if you couldn't tell. I know, can use both hands at the same time. See, hands free. Selfie operation. Woohoo. It is quite nice. It's a selfie stick and selfie stand all in one. Oh, there's a cat over there meowing. Hello, Emma. I don't know. She might respond. We'll see. Oh, there she comes. There she comes. I see her on the other side of the table. Anyway, so this video is titled Unexpected Kindness because I feel like it's a really, really important topic to talk about. Just about being alive, kind of, and living in the world with other people. So a lot of this takes place... Oh, there's a cat. Okay, spring your legs. A lot of it takes place in the US, but some in Sweden as well. I have wounds on my feet, right? So I'm not supposed to walk a lot, and doing all of like the moving stuff and, oh my God, all of the preparation, all of like the errands I had to run, it was nuts, especially in the US. And it was a nightmare. Oh God. And I was so stressed. I was like brain broken. I don't know if I talked about that being brain broken or not, but see, there we go. Brain's still broken. It's fine. Anyway, there were days I couldn't even remember my own name. And I did stuff like I had a doctor's appointment at a certain time of day, say like 10 o'clock. And I had a friend who was like, hey, can I come over and visit you at 10 o'clock? And I'm like, sure, it's fine. And then the night before, I'm like, oh no, she's going to come when I'm not going to be here. So I was like, can we move that appointment just a little bit further forward? So yeah, there were times like that where it was just nuts. And in that brain broken state, you are very, very vulnerable, and you almost have no conception of what's going on. It's weird and crazy, and I felt like I was just navigating life underwater or something. It was very, very odd. But in those times of my great need, I don't know if it was what I said or if I looked like I was at the end of my rope, which could very well be. But there were people around who did me kindnesses that weren't part of their job. They didn't have to do it. They just did it because they wanted to. They wanted to help me out. And so this video is a shout out and a thank you to all of those people who helped me and people who help all the other people in the world every day. Because I feel like kindnesses are so, so important. And I'll give you a couple of examples. And you may find these completely like, hey, KOS, you're taking this too seriously. And you might say that. But at the time, it affected me in such a profound manner that I can't even begin to express my thanks for the ability to move forward, right? Like, for example, so wounds on my feet, not supposed to walk. I went to a store and there was this wonderful shower curtain that I really wanted. And it was over on the other end of the store. I mean, I parked as close as I could. It was in the right area, but it wasn't like miles away, but it was far enough that it would have taxed my feet. And I just asked the clerk, I said, can you please get me the shower curtain? And I'll wait here by the cash register to pay for it. And they did. And it was really sweet. And this one young man at Arlanda Airport in Sweden. Normally when you request disabled assistance from an airline or whatever, when you're traveling, they usually drive you from point A to point B. And that's it, right? And maybe you find another person to drive you a different distance, but this young man was fantastic. He drove me all the way in a wheelchair from the gate, which was quite far from the exit. We went through immigration and he drove me to the luggage area. So sometimes they even like drop you in immigration and it's fine. But we went all the way to the luggage area. He helped me with my luggage. I had quite a few bags because this was my last trip back, right? Normally I don't travel with many suitcases. I try to be as light as possible. But this time I had many things I had to bring with me. So he helped me get my bags. I had like 2 carts because I had the cats as well, and they're in this huge container because that's what the airlines needed or whatever. So I keep saying whatever. I apologize. I'm gonna try to skip that. But also I have the flu still, so my voice is growing. And it's not COVID. Don't worry. It's garden variety flu, but it's kind of making me miserable slightly. Anyway, it's more annoying than anything else, Like, I don't try to suffer under the flu and I don't make a big deal about it, but man, it's just inconvenient. Because sometimes you talk and anyway, I'm not going to get into that. That's kind of gross. Sorry. Anyway, so he's driving me through and we go to customs where I had to declare the cats, of course, because that's part of the procedure. And I had all the paperwork so they didn't have to go to quarantine, which is great. I got them pet passports, which was an ordeal in itself, but I think we went through that. Anyway, so, and then he took me out to the taxis, and he didn't have to do that. He really didn't. I'm pretty sure it's not part of his job description to go all the way out, but it was really nice of him, and I just really appreciated that. And there were some other instances too of in the US, there was one day I had to run 9 errands, 9 different places. And in contrast to the day before where I also had to run 9 errands, just saying, I did as much as I could every single day. But I needed to mail something and all my envelopes had already been packed and had no stamps anymore. Everything was gone. And so I asked the bank lady, I said, do you have, could I buy a stamp and an envelope from you? And she says, well, I don't have any stamps, but here's an envelope. So I was halfway there. That was great. At least I didn't have to go and buy an envelope. If anything, I could go and get a stamp. But eventually I asked another person, my auctioneer lady that I was working with, and I said, could you please mail this? And you can just charge the stamp to me. It doesn't matter. And so she mailed it for me. So that was really nice. And so that kind of eliminated 2 stops off of my list, which would have put it at 11 different places I had to go to that day. And so I just want to say to all the people who help everybody everywhere with tiny little things, maybe you don't think it matters. Maybe you feel like it's just some tiny thing, or maybe you don't get thanked for it because the person is so out of their head they can't even form an idea of gratitude. But those tiny things, the tiny things and the big things, they all matter. They really matter. So this is kind of an encouragement to, if you see a person who needs help, not an entitled person who's well, I demand the things. No, but a person who's frazzled and who needs a break. Yeah, just do a kindness. It's great. And I feel very thankful, even though I believe I thanked everybody at the time, but my brain is still so in some other universe. It's fine. I'll get it back eventually. I feel like floating back to me. It knows my address in Sweden, so I'll get it eventually. Maybe it's like a passenger pigeon. Who knows? But anyway, yeah. Even if you don't hear about the gratitude or you feel it might not be returned, the person does feel grateful. Trust me. They do. It matters to them. It mattered in their journey. It mattered in how things went and all of that kind of stuff. Another thing, when I got on my flight, both flights, I had 2 flights, to one from Denver to Frankfurt, and one from Frankfurt to wherever I am now, Sweden. Oh my God. That's how you can tell brain is still broken. Anyway, on both flights, I made sure that my cats were on board, and that was important. The first flight, I got it at the counter, but the second flight, they couldn't check. The plane came late, so they were loading all the luggage really late. And I asked at the desk, no, and so I was on board in my seat. We're already getting ready to go, and I had already asked one of the flight crew. I kept thinking stewardess, but no, flight crew, because some, there are stewards as well. Anyway, And, can you please find out, are my cats on board? I really need to know, because I don't want them to be in Frankfurt. I've got nobody in Frankfurt to help me. I need those cats with me. So they were calling and looking and calling, and finally they were able to find out, and that really made my journey so much less stressful, because they took the time to find out. They called the people that needed to be called and all that stuff, and that really made me feel a lot better than like, oh my God, are my cats on this airplane? Help! And who knows when there's another flight. So yeah. Anyway, it makes a difference. So that's a thing. And those miraculous sort of happenings of the universe, I don't know if it's miraculous. I think it's just people being fantastic. People like seeing another person in distress, or where they just are not functioning well, or they really need help. And sometimes that help, you really can't buy it. It's like putting, doing the form now instead of sending it on to, the corporate people or whatever. Sometimes you can't buy the help, but they do it anyway, because they just want to help you out, which is nice, really nice. So I encourage everybody to help other people out. I try my best to do the same in the ways that I can. I don't really come across situations like this, because I live like a mole person in the dark, and I never go out because I can't, because my feet, I can't really walk very well right now. I like going places, like on the trains. I go to central Stockholm and other places around, but for the most part, I'm a YouTuber, and so I don't really get into contact with people unless they message me, and I do my best when I get requests to help people out. So, but anyway, yeah, that's kind of the topic for this video. I think we have some more bureaucracy coming up. I have to see where I left off in the last video, because new things have happened. Actually, I could just say I finally got my personnummer, which is like the official, I don't know did I mention that? So I got the samordningsnummer, which is like coordination number. And then the personnummer is the person number. It's like a social security number in Sweden. And it's an identifier that you use with everything, like your bank account, your health records, all that kind of stuff. And news for people who live in the US, you don't have to keep it secret. That was a surprise to me, because they have better security than we ever will. In the US, it's like, oh, here's your social security number, keep it real secret. And yeah, no, here it's easy, and the number is easy to remember because it's your birth date, starting with the year, month, day, and then there's a dash, and then there are 4 new numbers. So I have to memorize a total of 4 numbers, which is easier than remembering 10. Yeah. So in the US, it's like 10 numbers, like a phone number kind of thing. So in contrast, I don't remember my new phone number. Matthias was able to get me a phone card even before I got my personnummer, because we needed it for the bank and for other things. So still don't have the bank account. Working on it, but at least I have the number. And the bank is now requiring not just the number, they want me to have the ID card. So now I'm going to the Skatteverket, which is like the tax agency, and yeah, I should tell that one too. So I need to apply for a card there, and I'll go probably next week. We have an appointment, so there's that. And interesting, skatt is a word describing 2 different things, both tax and treasure, like loot. So Skatteverket is like the loot, tax, treasure place. Yeah. But I thought that was funny. It's cool. But anyway, it kind of gives you an idea of other Swedish words that are related. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have for today. I'm working on maybe making Matthias some Christmas treats, but the issue with that is that we need to take out the recycling. We have a lot of recycling to take out so that I have more space to work, because I want to make a traditional Polish dish or two requiring rolling of dough, pierogies. So that's going to be a project I want to work on. It's backbreaking and horrible, but it's nice. It's really tasty and good. So that's part of my Christmas tradition. Otherwise, we've talked about different Swedish things, but there aren't really a lot of Swedish traditions that he celebrates or does with food. The only thing is glögg, which is a kind of a mulled wine that you need to get that at the liquor store. So we're gonna try it. They usually have like a flavor of the year plus the traditional. So we'll try those. And do y'all want to see like reaction videos as well? Like I've seen people on TV on YouTube do like different food tasting. Like I saw these women. Oh my god, it was so weird. American women try Swedish food, and they tried like the most like candy bars. I'm like, you know it's gonna taste like chocolate, right? Like you know it's not gonna be like horrible. I mean, it's not like having the oh god, the fermented fish thing that I can't remember the name of. Some people like it, but I have heard tales. But anyway, so they tried all these like innocuous foods, but I can do that if you want to learn more about it. Maybe I frame it as a reaction, maybe not. Maybe it's more like try 10 different candy bars and find out which one I like the best, or describe them to people who don't have them or who have them and just want to find out. I don't know. Let me know if that's kind of interesting or not. That could be interesting content, maybe. Because now I feel like Marco Polo in the New World, in the East. I mean, not the West New World, the East New World to him anyway. Where like the whole world is new. It's new, but it's like, it's also, it's home for me. It's not a foreign place. It's a place I belong. So, yeah. Anyway, let me know what you think. Always welcome your comments. I always read all my comments as well. So, anyway, thank you so much for joining me. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll see you next time.